What's up, guys? Mike Dolce, four-time world MMA Trainer of the Year and #1 best-selling author. It is story time. Behind the scenes of the world of mixed martial arts. And today, this is one of the most requested videos and topics. Johny Hendricks. I'm going to tell you about the infamous weight cutting process and weigh-in of Johny Hendricks versus Robbie Lawler for their first fight all the way back in 2014. Did Johny win the fight? Did he lose the fight? Well, some of you know, but you got to stay with the video to really hear the whole story. This is going to blow your mind. What about Nick Diaz trying to jump us in the parking lot? Are you freaking kidding me? Running through the streets of Texas, trying to find an exercise bike in the middle of the burning hot sunny day. Insanity. I'm going to tell you everything, the full story here. Make sure you subscribe to this channel to hear more videos like this, plus our diet, exercise, fitness, strength and conditioning tips, and lifestyle management, all here, the Dolce Diet channel. This is for you guys, and this is driven by you. Whatever you want, be sure to leave comments below, leave questions below. I'm happy to answer them. So, a little backstory. I started working with Johny Hendricks back in 2011. August of 2011, Johny Hendricks was set to fight Mike Pierce. On that same card, I was working with Vitor Belfort, who was fighting Yoshihiro Akiyama, Sexyama for those who know. This was, I think, my second or third fight working with Vitor. That's a whole nother story, and I do have some amazing Vitor Belfort behind-the-scenes weight-cutting stories, too. But this is the Johny Hendricks, Robbie Lawler, infamous weight-cutting story. This story, a lot of the trolls out there say that Johny missed weight, and I'm going to explain exactly what happened. Nobody has the details like Uncle Mike does, so hang with me. So anyway, August of 2011, Johny and Vitor are on the same card. We step on the scales to weigh in. Burt Watson, what's up, baby? We rolling, yeah!
And you know what that means when it's time to go to work? We rolling, yeah! All night long.
Burt Watson, I love you, Burt. That's back when Burt was there. Burt gets us on the scale. We happen to get on the scale at the same time. Vitor steps on the scale 211 pounds on Tuesday before his Saturday fight, Friday weigh-in. 211 pounds, Vitor steps on the scale for a 186 middleweight bout. What's that put him at? 186, 196, 206. Vitor is 25 pounds above the weight class limit on Tuesday. We step on the scale. I look at it. I look at the weight. I say, great job. I remember this perfectly. And he's like, that's good, coach. I said, that's perfect, Vitor. Give him a high five. I gave him a bottle of water. He starts drinking. We put on his gear. We walk. We leave. Now, in the room, Johnny's there with his coaches, Mark Lehman, Adrian Ramirez, and Steven the Warman. They're all in the room, plus a bunch of the other Team Takedown guys. Team Takedown traveled with a very large group of people. That actually comes later into the story. They're sitting there, they're looking at us like, I remember they're like, because I know Lehman, I know Adrian, I know Steven, I know Johnny, I know these dudes. They look at us and they're like, fuck, like all kind of weird. I'm like, oh man, I guess Johnny didn't really look that any good. Anyway, so as fight week goes on, Vitor makes weight perfectly, effortlessly, looks awesome, easy, following the Dolce Diet 3 weeks to shredded weight cutting program, following the Dolce Step Method, the easy, simple way we have to lose weight, very simply passive way to lose weight regardless. So we get Vitor from 211 to 186, feels great, makes weight, goes out there, tunes up Akiyama. Beautiful fight. Looks absolutely amazing. Big time. During fight week, we see Johny cutting weight. Johny looks like death all week long. Every time I see Johny, he's working out. Every time I see Johny, he's sweating. Every time I see Johny, he's got plastics on. He looks absolutely terrible. Anyway, Johny goes out there and he squeaks past Mike Pierce in a very controversial split decision victory. He gets the win. A lot of people thought Pierce won. I didn't see the whole fight because I was with Vitor the entire time. I didn't see the fight either way. Pierce is a tough dude. I know him from my Team Quest days. Regardless, August, we move on. September, my phone rings. Ring, ring, ring. It's Mark Lehman. Hey, Dolce, what's up, man? Mark, hey, Mark, what's up, man? Good, this, that, the other thing. He's like, bro, listen, I don't know what the fuck you did with Vitor, but I got to tell you, we were in the room. We saw you step on the scale with Vitor at 211 pounds. We looked at each other and we said, there's no way Vitor's making weight. There's no way Vitor's making weight. He said, and then when we saw you on the scale at weigh-ins, Vitor looked like a young man. He looked fresh. He looked healthy. He said Johny only had about 12 pounds. Johny was what, 171? Johny was like 183, I think, when they stepped on the scale. 183, 184. Johny had half the amount of weight to cut that Vitor had. Johny barely made it and was terrible the entire time. And Lehman said, listen, man, we need you. Johny needs you. Would you be willing to work with Johny? Yes, I will. Let me fly out there. Let me meet him first. Let me talk to the team. Let me meet his family. Let's make sure we vibe first. That's what I do with all the athletes I was working with at that time. Fly me out, no money, don't pay me. Let's just hang out for a day or two. Let me breathe your air. Let me watch your training. Let me take a walk through your kitchen, and let's just see if we get along. If we get along, then bang, I'm in, right? If we vibe, if you're gonna work, if you're gonna believe me, if you're gonna buy into it, if I think that you have the goods, you're actually going to be a good athlete, compliant. You're not gonna waste my time. I'm not gonna waste yours. If this is a good fit, let's do it. Flew out there. I thought Johny was great. His family was great. His team was. Adrian was great. Steven was great. Lehman was great at that time. I think those were the only coaches. There was a lot of people around him, though. A lot of people. Chris Feist was great. There was a couple of the other guys out there, teammates. I really like those guys. Way too many people. Way too big of an entourage. Way too big of a management company. Whole nother story. Regardless, but that does make its way later on in the video because I'm going to get to Robbie Lawler versus Johny Hendricks for the UFC world title. That's what this is about. So stay with me. Stay with me. I have to give you the backstory. I start working with Johny. That is back in 2011. We start working together September or so of 2011. Now, this is before Johny gets scheduled to fight. I'm just looking at his record here. John Fitch. The first official fight I work with Johny Hendricks is for John Fitch. Johny said after going into that fight, it's the easiest weight cut he ever had. From the hardest weight cut he ever had to the easiest weight cut he ever had. And he goes out there and he knocks out John Fitch in that fight. First round KO. Johny said, this is the first time I brought all my power. This is a quote. The first time I brought all my power into competition as a mixed martial artist. And he gave us credit to that. So thank you, Johny, for that. But we just kept him healthy. We finally kept this man healthy, and all of a sudden he went on a tear. He goes out there, he knocks out Fitch. He beats Koscheck. He knocks out Martin Kampmann. He beats Carlos Condit. All top contenders. All world title. Koscheck fought for the title. Fitch fought for the title. Condit fought for the title. Kampmann, I don't know. Kampmann was right about to fight for the title. And then he goes through, he loses a razor thin split decision versus George St. Pierre the first time for the title. The whole world, 11 out of 12 cage side journalists said Johny Hendricks won that fight versus GSP. But regardless, Johny loses razor thin split decision to George St. Pierre. And I'm going to talk about that fight. Johny, the weight cut for Johny versus GSP is an awesome story too. I'll talk about that later on down the road. But this is Robbie Lawler because this is infamous. This is the one that people don't say Johny missed weight. Johny didn't miss weight. Johny made weight because Johny won the world title. But what happened? The behind the scenes. What happened in this fight? This is the most interesting part of this. So we move forward. Johny just goes out there. He puts a clinic on George St. Pierre. George St. Pierre retires as a result of that fight, right? Steps away. He can't, in my mind, whatever. I don't want to disparage GSP, who's a legend. But anyway, so then Johny is set to fight Robbie Lawler at UFC 71. Main event, Johny Hendricks versus Robbie Lawler at the American Airlines Arena in Dallas, Texas, baby. Dallas, Texas, near Johnny's hometown. Big, huge fight for Johny Hendricks. Now, Big Rig, as they call him, is known to put on some weight. Johny Hendricks famously blows up. He's a 170-pound fighter. He famously blows up over 200 pounds. 205, 210. Before the Robbie 2 fight, Johny was up at 220, 50 pounds over the class limit. Johny starts training camp for this Robbie Lawler fight at 208. What is that? 38 pounds. 38 pounds above the class limit. 38 pounds above the class limit. He starts training camp. So, we get in the camp. I fly out there. Ooh, all right, Johny, time to get to work. Here's the meal plan, this, that, the other thing. Who's cooking meals for you? All right, here we go. This is the meals. This is the setup. I spend a couple days with him, and then I fly back home to do my stuff. And this is what I would do. I'd fly out to the athlete for a couple days. I'd fly to another athlete. I'd fly home. I'd fly to another athlete. I'd fly back to this athlete. That's during that time, the early 2010s or so. That's kind of what my schedule was. So I'm jumping around, doing the thing, working with Johny. He's giving me the updates. I'm talking to his coaches. I'm keeping Adrian Ramirez, his strength coach, his Mark Lehman, his head coach, and we'd have like weekly or bi-weekly like team updates. Everybody would chat. What are we doing? What's the plan? It's really organized at this point. Couldn't say enough about the coaches of Team Takedown. Management system, again, chaos. It was pure chaos for us, for the coaches anyway. Hard to do our job. Anyway, as we get closer, Johny's weight's coming down. It's coming down. It's coming down. It's slowly coming down. But Johny, very, openly, very honest athlete, which I love, would admit to stopping at Sonic and getting some of these Baconators, I think they're called. Now we're there. We're in Dallas. We get to Dallas, and Johny, once again, he's at like the low. He's like 191 or so. So the weight didn't come off the way it should have because Johny was eating a lot of these Baconators and these sweet teas, and he's subbing, instead of drinking like fresh brewed green tea, he's going and getting sweet tea, which is basically a soda, right? And there's a lot of this stuff going on, but he's such a hard training athlete. He's destroying everybody in the training room. And there's this really fine line with a lot of these athletes. Their performance is at such a high level, they don't take some of the areas in life as seriously as they should. I see this a lot with very gifted athletes. The more gifted the athlete, the less they have to work in many areas. And I would say Johny is no different in that case. So being that Johny was no different in that case, he really did use food as an emotional crutch. And his level of compliance when I wasn't there was moderate at best. When I was there, it was easy for me to babysit a little bit, make sure he was eating what he was supposed to. So I knew once I got him fight week, I get him fight week because we've gone through multiple fights before. We went through all those other fights, 5 fights or so before. I get him ready to go, and he'd be on task. But with this, we get to fight week, the weight starts coming off, and the weight comes off exactly as it's coming off. It comes off predictably. It comes off a couple pounds a day, couple 10 pounds a day, all the way through really it's nutrition. We're running the 3 weeks to shredded program. He's in the final week of 3 weeks to shredded. And I should say, Johny really doesn't buy into the diet until about 3 weeks out. And that's where most of the weight shifted. So when he was like 208 to beginning of the camp, he was up at the high twos, 208, 206, 204, 202. He wasn't really doing a lot, compliance-wise. Once we got within 3 weeks, that's where he cut out a lot of the crap, and that's where his weight really did start to come down and plummet. Over the course of maybe he lost 10 pounds in the first, 4 weeks of camp, 5 weeks of camp. He lost another 10 pounds in the 3 weeks of camp as we get down into that final fight week. I don't have all the numbers in front of me. I have journals with all the numbers so I can kind of, give you guys. I might do that. I might just start going through all the fight camp journals for you guys and really give you an exact breakdown. But that might be too much personal information that I won't share. I'll probably put this into some sort of meta-analysis, I think, for you guys where I really kind of detail how these athletes lose weight across the board, run a meta-analysis of weight loss and start to, build very specific plot lines of different personality types or, meal plans that we followed and different systems in the process to really show you the best way to do it is not the way that most people say. Anyway, let me try and wrap this video up for you now because here's the interesting part. Those who stuck with me this far, thank you. Here's the most interesting part. So we're in Dallas. We're in the hotel, a really cool hotel, massive hotel. It's a massive hotel. Like, you got to walk a couple hundred yards to get one side of the hotel, all the way through to the other tower of the hotel, and then out to where we can actually cut weight. They got some hot tubs out there. We're cutting weight in the hot tubs, and his weight's coming off, and it's coming off perfectly. Now, as the weight's coming off, there's an issue with this where we're cutting weight, the aquatic center inside this hotel. We have to go find another place. This is actually weigh-in day now, and this is just the way it goes. So the comedy of errors happens. We have to go to a different weight cutting area in order to cut weight that's closer to Johnny's home, which is a little bit of a challenge. And because he's fighting near his home, there's a lot of social pull on him. He's being pulled around, not uncommon for a lot of high-level athletes competing at the top of the cards, big fights. Every single person you know wants to be around you, be near you, pull you, pull you, pull you, pull you. It's big chaos. They want this big weigh-in dinner after weigh, and they want to rent out the big steakhouse and have the athlete there as the, the person of like the big star. That we're working, guys. We're working here. I don't want a big fancy meal after weigh-ins at some bullshit steakhouse to appease sponsors. We got to go and whip some ass and win a world title the next day, motherfuckers. Come on, leave us alone. Let us do our job here. So anyway, we go to this, it might have been a Lifetime Fitness, actually. It was a gym like that. I'm going to say it was a Lifetime Fitness in the Dallas area. Beautiful facility. And I'm good friends with the people at Lifetime Fitness. Beautiful facility. Took great care of us. Problem number one. Biggest problem in this. Johnny has a Tanita scale, a high-level Tanita scale. Great scale. And they set it up, not my scale, their scale. So they set the scale up in the locker room, in the middle of the locker room. We're in the aquatic center. We're hanging out, doing the step method. The weight's coming off, dripping off. We come walking back in. We check weight every so often. Johnny's weight keeps coming down, where it's going to be, where it's going to be. We're like, man, we're right on schedule. We're a little bit ahead schedule. This is going to be easy because I plot everything down. I'm a math guy. I have everything plotted. I know exactly how long he's going to sit, how much he's going to sweat, how much longer the breaks are going to be, how long this is going to be. I build buffers for the unforeseen. So I know exactly how much we're going to lose during this period of time. I know exactly what temp the water is going to be. I know how much the athlete's going to lose. When they're 10 pounds over to 7 pounds over, I know they're going to lose 0.6. When they're 7 pounds over to 4 pounds over, I know they're going to lose 0.5. When they're 4 pounds over to 1 pound over, I know they're going to lose 0.3, 0.2, whatever those numbers might be. I know that because I journal that, I track that, I have the understanding and the experience to do that. This is the way I run my weight cuts. I know exactly how long it will take for my athlete to lose that weight. 100%, there is never any doubt. And I always build conservative hedges into the timeline to make sure. Then we got to get showered. We got to get changed. They got to brush their hair. They got to get in the car. They got to wait for the bus. Bert's going to send this. It's going to be this long to get there. I know. Bang, bang, bang. I work with the UFC. I work with Bellator. I work with one. I work with these high-level promoters. I work with their PR teams. I work with their head of communications. I work with the behind-the-scenes operations teams. I know exactly. All that typically runs through me. All of it runs through me, so I know exactly where we're going to be, when we're going to be, when the bus is going to come, who's driving the bus, how many people are going to be on the bus, how many seats are going to be on the bus, how long is this going to take to get there, what route it's going to take to get there, what way we're going to come home, which door we're going to walk into. I know all that stuff. That's what I do during fight week. It's not just about food. People know it's just about food and sitting in saunas. That's bullshit. That's fucking lowbrow. That's amateur shit. Everything we do is high-level shit, high-level shit. I work with the executives, the C-suites inside these organizations to know exactly there is no risk for anything to be outside of our control to the best of our ability, except the scale. So, beautiful scale, expensive scale, like a $500 Tanita scale Johnny has sitting there. Now, one time we come walking back, the scale is moved. There's a bunch of kids, 14, 18-year-old kids, hopping on and off the scale, playing fucking touch butt in the locker room. We're like, whoa, what are you guys doing? They're like, oh, what? We're like, oh, Johny Hendricks. And they start freaking out that Johnny's there. Yeah, guys, this is our scale. Like, oh, man, I'm sorry. We thought it was the gym's. Yeah, I get it. It looked like the gym scale because it was so nice. These fuckers are hopping on and off the scale, on and off the scale. We get on the scale. It's like, wow, man, John, your weight's good. Everything's good. You're on weight. So we left there on weight. Johnny was on weight on his scale when we left, right? Now, I got to tell you, Johny is the guy that wants to always game the scale. He always wants to game the scale a little bit. He always wants to stop his cut half a pound over because he thinks he knows the magic way to, and I'll do another video on how to game a scale. That'll be an awesome one. Leave a comment below if you want to know how to game a scale. I will tell you how to game a digital scale. I will tell you how to game a cow scale. I will tell you how to game the doctor's scale. I will tell you how to game a Walmart bathroom scale. I can game all of these scales, and I will tell you exactly how to do that if you leave a comment below, if this video gets at least 100 likes, and if I get at least 50 comments below this video. How about that? I've never done that. Give me 50 comments below this video, and I will tell you exactly how to game a scale. It is awesome. It's gonna blow your mind. But anyway, so we don't know this. We get Johny packed up. We drive. We get to the venue. The venue is in this freezing cold bar. It's in a bar. It's so crazy. The fight is at the United or the American Airlines Arena, but the weigh-in is at like some fucking podunk dive bar. Such a weird thing. We get there. It's freezing cold. Everybody's like literally freezing and shaking, to which I don't mind because the athlete's going to kind of lose just a little bit during that period of time. Just through that shivering, NEAT, right? Non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So the body's going to be moving, shaking a little bit, minuscule as far as the scale goes, but still, I'm not mad at it. We get there. People are like, fuck, this scale's heavy, the scale's heavy, the scale's heavy, the scale's heavy. I'm like, what do you mean the scale's heavy? They're like, the scale's heavy. The scale is heavy. The official scale is heavy, is what they're saying. And I was like, all right, let's step on. We step on the test scale. So they have a test scale on the back. They have the official scale in the front on the stage. The test scale and the official scale are supposed to be identical. Usually what happens, the test scale is slightly heavier all week than the official scale. Now that's another story I'll tell you guys about. They usually game the test scale for our benefit. They make you think you're a little bit heavier. And I know for a fact this happens. Which organization, I won't say which organizations. I'm not saying anyone in particular, but I know some organizations that do this on purpose to make sure the athletes hedge a little lower on their weight. Anyway, we step on the scale, and sure enough, Johny's about 0.6 over. So he's about 170.6. Boom, right? Uh-oh, we're over for a world title fight. But really, we're not, because in the state of Texas, you have a 2-hour window. The official scale opens at 4 p.m. The scale does not close until 6 p.m. This is another pro move right here. Now, we had about an hour or so before the 4 o'clock weigh-in kicked on. If we only had the 4 o'clock weigh-in, and if we had to make weight the first time, we would have gotten our gear on, we would have gotten outside, we would have gotten that half a pound or that 0.6 off. Everybody in the room, because there was a lot of athletes that were over at that point. A lot of these athletes are like, oh, fuck, and they start trying to get their shit going, right? I think somebody else missed weight on that card. But anyway, the other people did miss weight on that card. Anyway. So anyway, I'm like, listen, and they're like, fuck, what do we do? I said, guys, chill, relax. Let's not do it here. I'm on the phone and I start calling around. I find there's actually a facility right across the street that has a gym that has everything we need literally right across the street. We can go across the street to the gym. I call the manager of the facility. Hey, this is who I am. This is what I'm doing. This is what we're doing. Can we have access to that facility? He knows exactly who we are. He said, absolutely. I will clear this part of the gym for you. You can have it to yourself. How much time do you need? I was like, we're 0.6 over. We probably need 30 minutes start to finish. Let's plan on an hour. It'll take us, we'll get there probably about 4:30 or so, 4:45. We'll start the cut right about 5 o'clock or so. We'll get everything done, 5:30, cleaned up. Gives us more than enough time to get here by 6 o'clock to step back on, because it's literally right across the street. All right, cool. And I was like, John, I said, listen, expect when you first step on to be close. Expect when you first step on to maybe make it. I said, but expect to miss it. You might miss by a few ounces. First step, this isn't the real one. It's not the official. It's just the first attempt. On this first attempt, remember, we have a 2-hour window. There's no stress. I said, buddy, no worries. This just gives you more time to chill out and relax. Chill out, relax. Look how stressed out everybody is right now, trying to shake that weight off. I said, just chill, brother, relax. Who knows? That weight might come down. It might come down as we're sitting here. Who knows? I said, maybe that scale's wrong. I said, now try your little, try to game the scale. Try your little game thing. Let's see if that works. Because it's not illegal. It's just the way you stand on the scale. You're a little bit lighter or you're a little bit heavier. Who knows, right? Not illegal to do that. Just the way you're standing there. You don't break any rules. It's just the way you stand. So anyway, needless to say, Johny goes out there, steps on the scale. He is slightly over. He's, I think, half a pound over at this point, but he's half a pound over with his underwear on. His underwear weighs about 0.2. So he lost almost 0.2 just sitting in the back. He's got his underwear on, which is another 0.2. He was 0.6 over. So right now, we're sitting at about 0.2 over, but I'm in my mind, I'm saying we're 0.5 over. We're probably truly 0.2 over. We could probably spit that out. I could sit him on the toilet and hopefully let him tinkle and spit. That'll probably come off. You guys know that, right? Give him a good, toweling of his head because he had some long hair and a beard. We could probably get some of that weight up, but we're not taking any chances. When he steps on the scale, who's in the front and center? Nick Diaz. Nick Diaz and Nate Diaz are sitting front and center. Nick Diaz is heckling Johny on the scale, talking shit to Johny while Johnny's trying to weigh in.
Too heavy, Johny. Step that. You are running.
Insane. So Johnny's a little bit over. They announce he's a half a pound over or what it might be. He gets off the scale. He walks over. He does the little face off with Robbie. It's no big deal. And, we get off and everyone wants to do the media, all the come. I said, guys, leave us alone. We have work to do. We're still working right now. Please leave us alone. We'll be back in an hour to make weight and then you can ask any question you want. We grab his gear, we get the team, we walk outside. We're like, do we take the car? Do we walk? Johnny's like, I feel good. Let's just walk. Great. Instead of driving across the street, we're just going to cut through the parking lot. As we're walking through the parking lot, Dana White's personal bodyguard, Kea, comes running over, and he's fucking massive, like an NFL linebacker, like 6'6", like 300 fucking pounds, in shape, fucking big fucking Hawaiian dude. Dolce, stop, you man, you can't go, you gotta be careful. Nick Diaz is looking for Johny. He wants to fight him. I was like, what? I said, Johnny's fighting, like, what are you talking about? He's like, fucking talk to Shelby, talk to Joe Silva. Man, we gotta cut weight. Like, no, he's looking for him in the parking lot right now. He wants to fight Johny Hendricks right now in the parking lot. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And all of a sudden we hear people screaming, oh, like there he is, fucking, like, fuck you, man. Like all of a sudden, like a riot breaks out in the parking lot. Johnny's all geared up. We're all geared up. We're going to finish cutting half a pound of fucking weight. And we're like, oh, fuck, like Nick Diaz and all the fucking 209 boys are about to jump us in the fucking parking lot, like during the fucking UFC weigh-ins. So we like snatch up all our gear. We're like, we got to fucking make tracks and get the fuck out of here before these boys fucking figure out it's us. So we're like running with like our gym bags and our fucking gear and like the fucking Tanita scale, which is a big fucking thing. Fucking running through the parking lot, cross the street, get to the place that we're going, fucking get in. We got to take up the elevator. We get upstairs and we're like, holy shit, that was fucking crazy. By the time we get there, Johnny's already sweating. He's already on weight. I'm like, listen, get on the bike, keep your gear on, because he's got his sweatsuit on and his hat and all that good stuff, right? Because, they got to have that gear. Because we always plan for contingencies. Even if my athlete's 10 pounds underweight, I always plan, what if they're over? What if there's a problem? What if they're... So I have everything. I have everything we need to cut weight in the moment. I have it everywhere we go. That's just what we do, right? We have contingencies. So I'm like, listen, get on the bike, pedal the bike, go, just move. As long as, and I always clear the head, wipe the forehead, clear the head, wipe the forehead, see how long it takes for, the little droplets, little sweat to start coming out. So I can tell that the athlete's sweating. I take it, I wipe it. 30 seconds, a minute later, it starts to come down again. I said, man, you're sweating. I said, go as slow as you can to keep sweating. I said, let's get on the bike. I said, let's do like 15 minutes or so, you know. So we get on the bike. He does 15. I think he did. He's like, he felt good. He actually felt good for him. I think because of all the, maybe some of the nerves and some of the chaos, but Johny doesn't get nervous, which is why he's such an elite competitor. 2-time national champion, 2-time NCAA D1 national champion is Johny Hendricks. Don't fucking forget that. Don't take that away from this man, because he's a fucking stud. To win that tournament twice, you're a savage. And you guys know that's a fucking savage. Anyway, we get done, we get dried off, fucking this, that. No, this is a little bit of chaos. Get them all cleared up. Now we're like, oh, fuck. Maybe Nick Diaz is going to jump us walking outside the building. So we send Steven Warman, who's awesome. Steven goes out there to like check, and the nicest, sweetest fucking man in the world, right? But a badass. Steven Warman's a fucking badass too. TIE fighter. He goes out there, comes back in, coast is clear. So we're doing like the funny glasses and the mustache, like hoods up, trying to like blend in to all these other like fight fans and whatnot walking the street. So like Nick doesn't see us, trying to like really lay low. So we get our gear. We actually, Burt Watson sent me a van. That's what I called Burt Watson. I said, Burt, man, can you get a van over here? He's exactly where we're. I got you, baby. I got you. Boom, boom, boom. Van comes, picks us up, drives us back. We get to the venue. We walk in. Everybody's there. I remember my good friend Dan Lambert, manager of American Top Team. He's standing there waiting, just waiting for Johny Hendricks to miss, right? Waiting, because that gives them 20, 30% of Johnny's purse. Just creates this whole fucking shitstorm. And I'm good friends with Dan. I love Dan Lambert. He's always a good guy. One of the golden humans in the dirty sport like mixed martial arts. Johny gets all peeled down, gets undressed, steps on the scale, 170, and Dan's like, fuck. Good job, guys. Good job, guys. Dan, thank you. What'd you expect, dude? And then Dan, of course, manages Thiago Alves, who I got on weight, who was also another problem child in MMA. And Thiago never missed weight with me also. So Johny goes out, and he officially makes the championship weight of 170.00 pounds for his world title fight with Ruthless Robbie Lawler. Johny then goes out there and beats Robbie Lawler in fight of the year candidate for sure. It was a unanimous decision where Johny was dominant. Robbie was tough as hell. Johny was dominant. Johny goes out there and fights a 5-round war with Robbie Lawler, who became the future, who was a future UFC world title holder. Johny goes out there after that, and this weight cut, because Johny was a half a pound over on first, we call it first step. On first step, he was a half over. We knew in the back he would likely be a half over. We knew he would probably be a half over. We knew he'd be a little over, and I knew we had 2 hours. We had that 2-hour window to make weight. So part of this was the competitive psychology that most of the idiots out there don't understand. I know my athlete. I know his psychology. And as a result of that, I knew, let this man just chill and relax. Let him enjoy watching everybody else run around and squirm around and go crazy in this freezing cold facility trying to get on weight early when it didn't matter anyway. Let's just chill, conserve our energy, relax. Now, by the time we got to that gym, he was probably already on weight because he was already started to sweat. It's freezing cold on the inside. It was hot as hell on the outside on that day in that Dallas sun. For whatever reason, it was hot as hell on that day. By the time we get there, he probably already lost that 0.2, 0.4, right? Remember, minus the underwear, which weighs 0.2, he probably would have been on. So he gets on, and the scale, they said 170. He was probably closer to 169.5 when he actually stepped on the scale for that second step. Remember, first step, second step. So, moral of the story is, Johny goes out there, makes 170 pounds, 170.00 pounds, navigates the killer's row of Nick Diaz and Nate Diaz trying to jump us in the parking lot, dealing with all the media scrum, trying to just really... That was a challenging, difficult thing because they were trying to make a story where there wasn't a story. And then... we go back, Johnny's on weight, Johny starts to rehydrate, great stuff. And it was interesting is everybody starts talking shit. How Johny Hendricks missed weight. And we're like, missed weight, motherfuckers. Like, we're fighting for the world title tomorrow night. We made weight. This shows you how uneducated a lot of people are out there. Now you guys are educated. Those who don't know the system shouldn't be playing the game. If you don't know the rules, you don't know how to win. We know exactly what we're doing. We know every state, every commission. We have the rule books. We have the PDFs. I get on the phone and I call the heads of the commission. I call the inspector. I find out exactly. I speak with the medical team. Who's the head doctor on site? Doc, let me talk to you for a minute. Who's the head of operations on site? Let me talk to you for a minute. That's the way you do it. You don't just go there like you're a deer in headlights the first time. No, man, I know this better than almost everyone who works for the commission, who works for the organizations. I've been doing this for over 20 years at the high level. This was not, to me, this is just another day of work. To everybody else, this was a spectacle. So this was a little story time. I know I've gone long, a 35-minute story here. I know it was a little long, but I gave you some good background. I gave you some good context. The next video I do on Johny Hendricks will be about Johny Hendricks' weight cut versus George St. Pierre. This very same weight cut, I lost 25 pounds the same week. So I wound up cutting 25 pounds drip for drip with Johny to get on weight. Now, this story is insane. What Johny had to overcome in order to get on the scale for this fight is insane. So the Johny Hendricks versus George St. Pierre, I will talk about that weight cut, but that'll be very specific. I'll break down exactly how we did it, what the process was, what he ate was. So that'll be a much more scientific perspective on how we cut weight for Johny. There was no drama behind that one. It was very scientific. We were very meticulous as we went across. Remember, if you want to hear how to game a scale, how to game the scale, I need 50 comments to this video, at least 100 thumbs up, 50 comments below. And as soon as we get that, I will post the how to game a scale video, which is so cool. It's so fun. And it's legal. It's completely legal. So anybody out there who's wondering, I will tell you, this is how it's done. Subscribe to the channel, guys and gals. If you have not yet, I would appreciate that. That helps the channel grow. Any engagement you can give us is awesome. I will keep giving you the most honest, the most actionable, the most evidence-based, and dare I say, the most entertaining videos on YouTube to just keep you occupied and keep you educated. So I appreciate you being here, and until next time, boo.